What if I told you that the secrets to building massive wealth have been hiding in plain sight for over 3,000 years? Ancient wisdom that's created more millionaires and billionaires than any modern business school. Financial principles so powerful that investment legends like Charlie Munger studied them religiously. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to reveal 10 ancient Jewish money rules that have silently shaped the fortunes of the world's wealthiest people. Principles that anyone can apply, starting today. The connection between Jewish financial wisdom and extraordinary wealth creation is no coincidence. While making up less than 0.2% of the world's population, Jewish entrepreneurs and investors have founded or co-founded companies like Google, Facebook, Oracle, Dell, and countless financial institutions. The wisdom I'm about to share has been passed down through generations, refined through centuries of practical application, and validated by modern financial science. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's brilliant business partner and vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, was known for studying these principles deeply. A voracious reader who built a fortune worth billions, Munger often cited ancient wisdom as the foundation of his investment philosophy. Take a simple idea and take it seriously, Munger would say, a concept deeply rooted in Jewish financial tradition. Before we dive in, I want you to understand something critical. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. These are time-tested principles that require discipline and patience. But if you stay with me until the end, I promise you'll gain insights that could completely transform your financial future. If this kind of ancient wisdom applied to modern wealth building interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss future videos on timeless wealth principles. Let's begin with the first ancient Jewish money rule, the law of value creation. In Hebrew tradition, true wealth comes not from taking but from giving, from creating genuine value for others. The Talmud, one of Judaism's central texts, teaches that the highest form of charity is helping someone become self-sufficient through valuable work or business. This principle predates modern capitalism by millennia, yet perfectly aligns with how wealth is generated today. Consider how the most successful companies in history, from Apple to Amazon, became wealthy by solving problems and creating extraordinary value. Steve Jobs didn't become a billionaire by hoarding money, but by creating products that transformed how we live. Jeff Bezos built his fortune by making shopping more convenient for millions. Charlie Munger embodied this principle perfectly. When asked about his investment strategy, he famously said, "Figure out what a business can earn over its lifetime and pay a reasonable price for it." At its core, this is about identifying and investing in value creation. Munger wasn't interested in market speculation or get-rich-quick schemes. He focused on businesses that created genuine, lasting value for their customers. How can you apply this principle today? Ask yourself, what value am I creating in the marketplace? Whether you're an employee, entrepreneur, or investor, your financial success will ultimately be proportional to the value you create. The ancient Jewish wisdom teaches that wealth follows value, not the other way around. Let me share a story that illustrates this principle perfectly. In the 1930s, a Jewish immigrant named Max Stern arrived in America with almost nothing. Rather than seeking quick profits, he focused on creating value in the neglected toy market. He founded what would become Toys R Us, creating value by bringing affordable toys to millions of families. By focusing first on value creation rather than profit extraction, he built a billion-dollar business that lasted for generations. Now, let's move on to the second ancient Jewish money rule, the principle of delayed gratification. This concept appears throughout Jewish texts, teaching that true wealth requires the ability to resist immediate pleasures for greater future rewards. In Proverbs, we find the wisdom that wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. This discipline of patience has been fundamental to Jewish financial success for millennia. Charlie Munger embodied this principle perfectly. When others chased quick profits during market bubbles, Munger and Buffett patiently waited for the right opportunities. The big money is not in the buying and selling, Munger often said, but in the waiting. This patience allowed Berkshire Hathaway to outperform the market consistently for decades. Consider how this principle manifests today. Studies show that children who can delay gratification, famously demonstrated in the Stanford marshmallow experiment, tend to achieve greater financial success as adults. The ability to save and invest rather than immediately consume is perhaps the single greatest predictor of wealth accumulation. The Jewish tradition takes this further, teaching that each financial decision should be viewed through a multi-generational lens. This explains why so many successful Jewish business families think in terms of decades or even centuries, not quarterly profits. The Rothschild banking dynasty, founded by Meyer Amschel Rothschild in the 18th century, exemplifies this principle, building wealth that has lasted for over 200 years through patient, disciplined investing. If you're finding value in these ancient principles that have created so much modern wealth, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe. These timeless concepts have shaped the financial world for centuries, yet they're rarely taught in traditional education. The third rule is the sanctity of education and knowledge. In Jewish tradition, continuous learning is not just encouraged, it's sacred. The Talmud teaches that a parent is obligated to teach their child a trade and the Torah, ensuring both practical skills and wisdom. This reverence for learning explains why Jewish communities have historically achieved remarkable academic success despite facing discrimination and persecution. Charlie Munger was famous for his concept of building a latticework of mental models, essentially becoming a perpetual learner across disciplines. In my whole life, I have known no wise people who didn't read all the time, Munger observed. This commitment to lifelong learning gave him a tremendous advantage in business and investing. Today's wealthiest individuals embody this principle. Warren Buffett reads 500 pages daily. Bill Gates takes think weeks to read and reflect. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science. The correlation between continuous learning and exceptional wealth creation is undeniable. How can you apply this principle? Commit to becoming a lifelong learner in your field and beyond. Read books, take courses, find mentors, and constantly expand your knowledge base. In today's knowledge economy, your earning potential is directly tied to what you know and how you apply that knowledge. The fourth ancient rule is the power of community and networking. Jewish tradition emphasizes the importance of community support and connections. Throughout history, Jewish merchants and bankers built extensive networks across countries and continents, sharing information and creating mutual opportunities. This principle of strategic networking predates modern business schools by thousands of years, yet perfectly aligns with current research, showing that your network significantly determines your net worth. As the Jewish proverb states, a friend in the marketplace is better than money in the coffers. Charlie Munger understood this deeply. His partnership with Warren Buffett is legendary. Two minds working together to achieve far more than either could alone. Munger once remarked, "You need to get associated with people that are better than you are." This humility and willingness to build powerful relationships became a cornerstone of his success. The fifth ancient Jewish money rule is the mandate of diversification. The Talmud contains one of history's earliest and most explicit diversification strategies. A man should always keep his wealth in three parts: a third in land, a third in merchandise, and a third at hand. This 2,000-year-old portfolio allocation strategy remains remarkably relevant. Diversification protects wealth from unexpected disasters, something Jewish communities learned through centuries of persecution and displacement. Those who followed this principle could lose everything in one area but still retain wealth in others. Charlie Munger approached diversification differently than most modern advisors. While he acknowledged its importance, he famously said, "Diversification is protection against ignorance." It makes little sense if you know what you are doing. This nuanced view recognizes both the wisdom of spreading risk and the potential of concentrated investments when backed by deep knowledge. Take a moment to comment below with which of these principles resonates most with you so far. I'd love to know which of these ancient rules you find most applicable to your financial journey today. The sixth rule is the ethics of honest business. In Jewish tradition, Business ethics aren't separate from spiritual life. They're integral to it. The Talmud teaches that the first question a person is asked in the afterlife is, "Were you honest in your business dealings?" This emphasis on integrity created a foundation of trust that allowed Jewish merchants to build extensive trading networks. The sixth ancient Jewish money rule we just explored, the ethics of honest business, was fundamental to Charlie Munger's philosophy. The best way to get what you want in life is to deserve what you want, Munger often said. This integrity-first approach meant avoiding shady deals and questionable business practices, even when they might have been profitable in the short term. This principle explains why Berkshire Hathaway has avoided industries and investments that might be profitable but ethically questionable. The long-term value of reputation far outweighs any short-term gains from cutting corners. As Munger put it, if you're not willing to react with equanimity to a market price decline of 50%, 2 or 3 times a century, you're not fit to be a common shareholder, and you deserve the mediocre result you're going to get. Let's move to the seventh ancient Jewish money rule, the discipline of systematic saving. The Hebrew concept of mazer, or tithing, teaches that one should set aside a fixed percentage of income before spending any of it. Traditionally, this was 10% for charitable purposes, but the principle extends to personal savings as well. Rabbi Daniel Lapin, a modern expert on Jewish financial wisdom, explains, "In Judaism, wealth is not about luck or even skill, but about habits and systems. This disciplined, systematic approach to saving creates a foundation for wealth building that supersedes market fluctuations or economic conditions." Charlie Munger exemplified this principle in both his personal finances and Berkshire Hathaway's operations. The company famously maintains massive cash reserves, allowing it to act decisively when opportunities arise. Munger once said, "The first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily." By systematically saving and reinvesting, he allowed the miracle of compound growth to work uninterrupted over decades. Consider the mathematical power of this approach. If you save just $500 monthly with a 10% average annual return, you'll have over $1.5 million in 40 years. The Jewish tradition of systematic saving recognizes this power and makes it a non-negotiable discipline rather than an occasional practice. If you're finding these principles valuable, please hit that like button right now and consider sharing this video with someone who could benefit from these timeless wealth principles. And stay with me, because the remaining rules are perhaps the most powerful of all. The eighth rule is the power of counter-cyclical thinking. Jewish financial tradition emphasizes being willing to go against conventional wisdom when markets are driven by fear or greed. There's a Hebrew saying that translates roughly to, "When others are selling their possessions in panic, the wise man prepares to buy." This counter-cyclical approach has allowed Jewish merchants and investors throughout history to buy assets at discount prices during economic downturns, positioning themselves for substantial gains during recoveries. It requires both courage and cash reserves, which connects directly back to the previous principle of systematic saving. Charlie Munger's famous quote captures this perfectly. "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This philosophy led Berkshire Hathaway to make some of its most profitable investments during market crashes and recessions, when quality assets were available at bargain prices. During the 2008 financial crisis, when most investors were paralyzed with fear, Munger and Buffett invested billions in companies like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America. These counter-cyclical investments later yielded extraordinary returns. The ancient Jewish wisdom of being prepared to act when others are fearful provided the philosophical foundation for these moves. The ninth ancient Jewish money rule is the responsibility of generational wealth transfer. Jewish tradition places enormous emphasis on properly educating and preparing the next generation to manage wealth wisely. Unlike many cultures where wealth often dissipates within 3 generations, the shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations phenomenon. Jewish families have historically maintained wealth across many generations through intentional wealth education. The Talmud teaches that a parent has responsibilities that include teaching children a trade, helping them marry, and instructing them how to swim, metaphorically teaching them to navigate life's challenges independently. This multi-generational approach to wealth stands in stark contrast to the individualistic view common in modern finance. Charlie Munger emphasized this principle in his own family and business practices. He didn't just accumulate wealth. He created structures and education to ensure it would be managed wisely for generations to come. The highest form of wealth, Munger once observed, is the wisdom to know how to use it. This principle explains why Berkshire Hathaway has such a strong focus on creating enduring value rather than maximizing short-term profits. The 10th and final ancient Jewish money rule is perhaps the most powerful yet often overlooked: the sanctification of ordinary business. In Jewish tradition, commerce and business aren't seen as necessary evils or morally neutral activities. They're potentially sacred endeavors that can elevate both the individual and society. The Hebrew concept of tikkun olam, repairing the world, teaches that business can be a vehicle for improving the human condition. When conducted ethically, business creates jobs, solves problems, and generates resources for charitable giving and community building. This 10th principle explains why so many Jewish entrepreneurs have built businesses focused on solving meaningful problems rather than merely maximizing profits. From medicine to technology to finance, these businesses often begin with the question, how can I create something that genuinely improves people's lives? Charlie Munger embodied this principle throughout his career. He didn't see business merely as a way to make money, but as a vehicle for creating lasting value. To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want, he said. The world is not yet a crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. This perspective sees business success as flowing from genuine contribution, not clever financial engineering or market manipulation. Consider the story of Estee Lauder, who built a cosmetics empire starting from her uncle's recipes and her kitchen stove. Far beyond just selling beauty products, she viewed her business as enhancing women's self-confidence and quality of life. This approach to business as a means of improving the human condition helped her build a multi-billion-dollar company that continues to thrive decades after her death. Let's step back now and review these 10 ancient Jewish money rules that have created so many modern millionaires and billionaires. 1. The law of value. Creation. True wealth comes from creating genuine value for others too. The principle of delayed gratification. Patience and the willingness to sacrifice immediate pleasures for future gain. 3. The sanctity of education and knowledge. Continuous. Learning as a sacred obligation and path to prosperity. 4. The power of community and networking. Building strategic relationships that create mutual opportunities. 5. The mandate of diversification. Protecting wealth by spreading risk across different asset classes. 6. The ethics of honest business. Maintaining integrity as the foundation of lasting business success. 7. The discipline of systematic saving. Setting aside a fixed percentage before spending anything. 8. The power of counter-cyclical thinking. Having the courage to go against the crowd during market extremes. 9. The responsibility of generational wealth transfer. Educating the next generation to manage wealth wisely. 10. The sanctification of ordinary business. Viewing commerce as a potentially sacred activity that improves the world. These principles have stood the test of time, not because they're magical or mystical, but because they align with fundamental economic and psychological truths. They worked in ancient Jerusalem, they worked for Charlie Munger in modern America, and they can work for you today, regardless of your background or beliefs. What makes these rules so powerful is their interconnected nature. Value creation leads to business opportunities, which require education to capitalize on. Community connections provide support and information, while diversification protects what you build. Honest business creates the reputation needed for long-term success, while systematic saving provides the capital for counter-cyclical investments. All of this creates a legacy worth passing on to future generations. Charlie Munger's lifelong study of these principles helped him build extraordinary wealth, not just for himself, but for thousands of Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. Take a simple idea and take it seriously, he advised. Each of these ancient rules represents a simple idea that, when taken seriously and applied consistently, can transform your financial life. If you found value in these timeless principles, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which of these ancient money rules do you find most relevant to your financial journey? Is there one you'll start implementing right away? I read every comment and would love to hear from you. Remember, the journey to financial freedom isn't about getting rich quick or finding some magical investment. It's about embracing these time-tested principles, applying them consistently, and allowing the power of compound growth in your knowledge, your network, and your investments to work its magic over time. Thank you for spending this time with me exploring these powerful ancient principles. Until next time, may your investments be wise and your returns abundant.